Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I've got an interesting question from Straight Path 8356. He's a regular subscriber. He comes up with good questions. I like the questions, and I'm going to be answering his question today, okay? Just stay with me. Let me read his full question so that you understand exactly where he's coming from and what he's saying, okay? So he says, do good quality apartments appreciate in value over 10 to 15 years, like a villa or townhouse on square foot basis in Dubai? Short answer, yes, but I'm going to get into the nitty gritty of it. If yes, what are the points to look for into for buying an apartment, for living in it as an end user for 15 years and selling it with a handsome price appreciation to the seller if one wants to move out of the UAE after 15, 20 years. Okay, that's good. So he's got a timeline of, let's say, 15 years, and he wants to sell the apartment after that, or maybe put it on rental income. Any examples or case studies too would be of great help. Okay, so let's tackle the first part of the question, which is, do apartments or villas or townhouses appreciate in AED per square foot terms over 10 to 15 years? The simple short answer is yes. Why do I say that? If you look around, almost every community in Dubai over the last 15 years is priced higher today. So this is without a doubt, there's no argument against it. It's without a doubt the case. But let's pick up real communities and then discuss around them, right? Let's talk about Arabian ranches and go 20 years ago. Now, if anybody knows Dubai, then you know that Arabian ranches, where it was being developed, was a little bit considered a little out there compared to the rest of Dubai. Like the rest of Dubai was where it was. We didn't have downtown fully developed in 2004, 2005. But if you really think about it, Arabian Ranches was considered a little bit far out. But then the master developer is really, really good, right? They know how to develop a great community. Arabian Ranches today is not just some place that you go and live. It's a community. It's a preferred choice. Like if you go out of Dubai and you ask people about buying villas, they're going to tell you like they'd love to buy an Arabian Ranches. And prices over there over the last 15 years, for anybody who's bought over the last 15 years, prices are probably doubled, if not tripled. Like if you had bought in the last 15 years, which was 2009, you're looking at triple the prices, okay? Now, that's just one community, but I can go on to tell you about downtown Dubai. I can tell you about Jumeirah Golf Estates. I've just recently come across an example of somebody bought a townhouse slash villa 10 years ago and then collected rent for 10 years, which is almost probably about 1.5 million dirhams, and then resold that same house for double the money. Right? Now, for some people, that might not be amazing, but I think over a 10-year period, you're doubling your money and you've got your initial investment back. That's pretty good, okay? Now, you can also adjust this for inflation. Like if you're thinking, yeah, she might have doubled, or he might have doubled, like whoever sold this villa might have doubled their money, but what about inflation? Okay, so if you take into account inflation of the last 10 years of, let's say, about 4% to 6%, but let's say 4%, 40%, minus 100, you are still 60% above, right? So you're 60% above. So you, first of all, what do I mean by inflation? So, it's like if you could buy 10 years ago for the amount of money, 10 loaves of bread, you couldn't buy today 6 loaves of bread. Fine. But that inflation is covered and they made 60% higher appreciation. So that's pretty good. Okay. Now, points to look for. First of all, you're going to be looking at your requirement over the next 10, 15 years. Understand how your life might change. Would you have children? Do they need to go to school? Do they need to go to universities? Do you have a lot of travel set up for yourself? Perhaps you end up traveling a lot, so you just need to be able to do that for yourself. So if you have a lot of travel, so on and so forth, at the end of the day, what's going to be really required is, first thing is, it's got to meet your requirements. So whether it's a villa, a townhouse, or an apartment, how many bedrooms, how many guests come, Do you like to go out for entertainment? Do you want fine dining to be close by? So points to look for, starting with your requirements, right? Second is choose a good solid developer. Don't go with a tier 2.5 developer. Go with only a top tier 1 developer or a tier 2 developer. Don't even, in my suggestion, go to a tier 2.5 developer. I'm not going to name developers. You do your research. You're pretty good. If not, then you've got to engage us and we'll do it for you. Okay. But you've got to go with a good developer. Number 3, you've got to go with a good quality building or apartment or townhouse. And you've got to analyze that. Do they do good quality? How do you analyze this? Like, guys, if I said don't go with go with a good developer, then it automatically you might not choose a completely new developer in the Dubai market, because you're going to want to have a developer that's really actually delivered things before, right? So you're going to want to go and check the quality. So your requirements: good developer, good quality, good amenities. Good amenities. By amenities, I mean retail, school, pool, jacuzzis, saunas, parks, golf courses. All of these amenities should be there. Now, they might not be there today, but they should be planned to come in. If it's a good developer, they'll put them in. If it's not a great developer, they might not put them in, and then you're going to have to suffer. Okay? Try to buy in a community with a good developer that you feel has already delivered a good community previously, and then they will be able to develop it again. Now, there's a couple of things you might want to keep in mind. Don't overpay. Here's the trick. Now, if you go to Arabian Ranches, Arabian Ranches is pretty much a developed community, fully premiumized. If you're buying there, you're buying a house next to neighbors who've been there for 10 years, 5 years, 7 years. That carries value, you know? You know how stable, how people are, and so on and so forth. The schools have kids who have grown up in those schools. Like, they're probably going to, like, imagine if somebody had bought an Arabian Ranches 20 years ago, and their kids went to school there, and they're now going to university. In about 4 years or 2 years or 5 years, those kids are going to be coming back now. And then those kids, if they're doing really well, or if their parents are doing well, are going to want to live close to their parents. They might want to buy an Arabian Ranches as well, right? So now Arabian Ranches is quite premiumized. I'm not saying it's a bad place. It's a great place, but one of the tricks is that you don't want to overpay today. How do you not overpay? Because you want the appreciation to start coming in after you've bought the property, after you've already bought the property. So you want the 15, 20 years to add the appreciation. You don't want to buy something that's already premiumized, generally speaking. But hey, if your requirements are Arabian Ranches, let it be Arabian Ranches. It's going to continue to grow in general, okay? So now you've got 15, 20 years, so you don't overpay. And in my opinion, you can actually go to a community which is not fully developed right now. So if you're okay to not go to Arabian Ranches, maybe you could go to Arabian Ranches 3. Maybe you could go to Emaar South. It's going to take 5, 7, 10 years, 15 years for the whole place to develop. Now, a case study I want to give you is Executive Towers in Business Bay. It's taken time. The first apartments were getting handed over in 2009, which technically means we're 15 years after the first few apartments that were handed over. I was around that place. I was in the towers. How was I in there? A friend of mine was helping somebody take handovers. I just happened to tag along. So it was the first time in Executive Towers after they'd been completed, and a brand new owner was taking handover, and I was there and this one person had like multiple apartments, like 9 or 10 apartments, and so on and so forth. It was quite interesting, but it's taken 15 years for all of Executive Towers to fully develop. Now, if you bought in the earlier go, you're pretty high. But if you bought in any of the time periods where the prices were very high, or where the sellers were selling very high prices, you may have suffered in a bit, right? So, just to let you know, the way Executive House is built, like, the place is it's like a community apartment block, right? Because it's got tons of retail downstairs, nurseries, lots of food places to eat, lots of gyms, swimming pools, like, you name it, it's got it, right? So it's a lovely community in an apartment building block in the heart of downtown. It's very close to downtown, even though I think it's considered Business Bay, right? But it's taken time. Like, for instance, the whole retail started changing when some of the new entrants came there, started being 24 hours eating places, and then there's then now there is like the major franchises over there who are there, and I think they're 24 hours as well, but it's just the whole place just is buzzing all the time. The new place that's probably going to, I'm not going to say compete, but going to might be similar, is Peninsula by another developer. But again, it might take some time to develop, which might mean that you could potentially buy a great deal now. Why do I say now? Like, look, it probably has premiumized now, but you could still go in, check out if anybody's looking to sell a quick what and is having trouble making payments to the developer. You could probably buy. Or Emar South, like, it's going to take 15, 20 years for the whole 10 years, 15 years for that place to start developing into what it is in its own. So, I hope I answered your question. And the other last part is, if you're thinking about a handsome price appreciation to the seller wants to move out of the UA, you've got to consider, like, even if it, like, think about it, if the price goes double, what is to stop it from going triple in the next 5 years after that? So why would you even sell it? Maybe you just hold it. And there are great companies over here in Dubai, including ours, that does property management for lots of people who are not based in Dubai. We help you find the tenant, collect the checks in your name, put the put the amount in the bank, and you can continue having tax-free income. So why would you even want to sell it sometimes? Hope this helps. Quick recap. Yes, I've seen appreciation. There's Arabian Ranches, downtown, Jumeirah Golf Estates. Points to remember is your requirements, good developer, good quality, good amenities, good community, and a dedication from the developer to delivering and helping those things develop, making sure that there's infrastructure to come in that area. Like, when you go to Emar South, Dubai South, you just obviously instantly know the moment those roads are going to get busy on the next 10, 15 years, the Dubai is going to build more infrastructure. Just like if you go to Dubai Hills, you see all this infrastructure roads getting built. Don't overpay. If you've got a 15 to 20 years wait time, there's areas in Dubai that you could target that are going to develop into communities in Business Bay, like apartments. And, for villas and townhouses, there's always Emar South or Arabian Ranches. Hope this helps. This is a very surface level analysis and answer to your question. If you need a perfect, good strategy, on our website, you can pay and sign up, and then we can work with you. Ciao for now.